César.
Hi, Mike.
You could have said that a lot yesterday. Yesterday was Australia Day.
Really?
Yeah. Well, some people call it Invasion Day, but...
Crack is...
I was just thinking, as you realize that thoughts are illusionary, do things affect you less and less, including energy? Like it's just non-occurrence?
The seer of the illusion is part of the illusion.
Yeah, right.
So delusion appears to be affected by the illusion, and then appears to be non-affected by the illusion. Individual, mind, ego, it means the same as the seer, right? The seer identifies itself with the body, and from there thoughts arises. By thoughts, I am the body. The one that doesn't see the world in deep sleep is the ego. The absolute is beyond. The awakening state is called awakening state or awakening state. You speak better English than me, I believe. I always have this.
Awakened state.
Awakened state? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, the awakened state, dream state, deep sleep state are mental states. Even the witness is a mental state. It's a fourth state. Okay? 3 states: awaken, dream, sleep, witness.
Yeah.
The self is, the absolute is beyond that. It's a reality beyond the illusion. Yeah? So all these 3 states appears and disappears in the reality.
Yeah.
So you spoke about energy. So the illusion is energy. So these are 3 modifications of energy: awakened state, dream state, deep sleep state. That's energy in a potential latent state. Then that potentiality is manifested as the world. The ego is the cause of all that. Right?
Yeah.
The ego, but the undifferentiated energy, where the ego merges back with the seer. Remember, we spoke about it first: seer, then light,
yeah,
then seen, right? If there is no identification, then seer and seen as conceived, so to speak, as non-different, right?
Right.
If they are conceived as two separate entities, right? It's called differentiation. Duality. See? Seer and seen.
that's identity.
Yes. So duality and non-duality are related to the illusion.
Right, okay.
Subject and object, right? As two separate entities, that's called duality. Subject and object as one and the same is oneness, right? The absolute is beyond even oneness. It's just a power, it's a current, it's a force, call it whatever you like. It's undescribable, it's a matter of experiencing it, so to say, directly. Right? It can be felt. Because it's extremely subtle and yet it's so powerful because it's the source of the whole story, right?
Mm.
It is perceptible, so to speak, only when the mind is completely quiet. Is it for that? The differentiation states, thoughts, all that has to go. All these modifications has to go. Thoughts has to go.
Right.
Then you can perceive the blank, this is the blank state, see, or the darkness or whatever, ignorance that it is there. But people believe it's a self, it's the kind of a nothingness.
Yeah.
Self is alive. I'm trying to emphasize that. Now I am working, making some summaries or extract from, we found the topics from Ramana Maharshi. Difficult to find it in Spanish, the whole book. So I'm working on that. And every time I see that part, see force, right? Or current or power, right?
Uh-huh.
There is a phrase here that Ramana says, consider how come, right? All of you appear here. See, you are born in different places, right? And live in different parts of the world. And now you are seated here, right? See, what is the power that brought all of you here? If you understand that, then you can understand also that power, right? Means if you understand that there is a power behind all phenomenon, see, then if you accept that, right? If you understand that, then obviously, there must be, because the ego cannot even stay awake all the time, right? Even if it tries.
Yeah, sure.
Sooner or later, the three states cannot hold forever. So they alternate, right? And contradict each other. So the ego is not even in charge of that movement, right? It's the self who projects, it manifests the ego. This is why it says the ego is not a separate entity, right? If you perceive it as a separate entity, you call it ego. Otherwise, it is also the self, right? So you cannot call it ego anymore, right, or illusion, or manifestation, or anything, right? This is from where the actual truth, the original concept derives from. The self alone is, right?
Yeah, sure.
This is why Sankaracharya was criticized, because he says, first, the self alone is real, everything else is an illusion, right? The world is an illusion. And then he says, the world is real. And I say, come on, what's your point, right? So if it is considered to be a separate entity, call it whatever you like, reason, Maya, ignorance, ego, manifestation, world, blah, 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 it doesn't matter. If not, you cannot tell it anything. In fact, it is the ego itself who speaks about illusion and reality. Reality doesn't say a thing. Again, it's just a current.
Yeah.
As we spoke the other day, it's a generator, right? Then generator produces electricity, right? Let's call that energy. And then that energy gets activated, and it is what, right? The seer and the seen and the act all appears later. The absolute is called witness because see, this witness in the awakened state, right? When you begin, see, you witness the mind, right?
Yeah.
But the witness of the mind is the mind. If there is no mind, there is nothing to be witnessed, right? Right? If there is no witness, there is nothing to be witnessed. So the same thing happens when there are no thoughts, right? What is there to witness? In that state, the witness and the manifestation, right? They merge into one, or better to say, they are realized not to be different, right?
Right.
And then, so this illusory witness, this relative consciousness, if you will, it merges with the absolute, right? It means no longer perceived as separate. That's why sometimes words are so limited. Even if you use them in the best context possible, it can be. I used to get a little bit confused when my teacher used to say, witness the mind. If you witness the mind with the mind, makes the mind to be under the control of yourself.
So kind of like you mind against itself.
Yeah, it's to make the ego to see its own content, just to see it. So it doesn't identify itself with it. So it doesn't strengthen it and keep on reproducing it, recreating it. That is karma. That produces more activity, see? I want to repeat the same action again and again. When the ego disappears, the actions that are left for the body to perform, it's like I don't know, like inertia. They exhaust as inertia, see? Like the fan, see, you can switch off the fan, fine. You don't give any more current to the fan, but the fan doesn't stop straight away. It still is a movement. but this movement was propelled, right, by a prior somehow impulse, so to speak, right?
Uh-huh.
Right. It's like there is a movement, right? That if you push a car, right, it produces the movement of the car. But if you cannot stop pushing, right? You stop, and then the car runs a little bit, right? And then it stops also.
Yeah, sure.
That's the life of the so-called sage. This is why you never understand him, why he's doing that. It's not because he wants to. He doesn't want anything. He just happens spontaneously. Doesn't happen out of volition, right? It's called as a accumulated karma, so to speak, for this life. No? And it doesn't create a future one. And the previous one, the one that is left, right? It loses its, there's nobody there who is going to pay that. So it gets away with it.
Sorry, what was that last bit?
It gets away with it.
Because there's no more ego.
Yeah, it gets condone, I think. Condone, I think is a word, right?
Sorry, say that again?
You're free from that. You don't have to pay that. It's like, okay, you don't owe me anything. It's like you are born now, right? It's like you say to me, César, can you give me $300? I say, sure, of course. You pay me $100 in 3 life spans, right? So the totally related debt is 300, right? And in this one you are paying 100, but in this one you say, César, can you borrow 300 more? And then sure, there you are, right? So you have 200 left, right? You have 100 to pay,
Yeah.
and then you have another 3, right? Is in this one you said, bagger that, I'm gone. See, I died.
Right.
So the one that is accumulated is not longer valid, right? It expires. And what is left is only the 100 that you have to pay. Even this 100 can be reduced to 20. Yeah. It is said that I disappears completely, and if there is a residual, you are not bothered by that.
Yeah,
anyway,
sure.
Anyway, the last one, then who cares? Right? It's like when you have when you go to Disneyland and you're already, Jesus, you have another 3 tokens, right? So now, well, what to do? So let's go to this game and that game and that game, and then I'm gone, right? Or like Disneyland doesn't let you go out until you exhaust all the tickets, right? Whatever. Right? But it's this one, okay. Yeah. Roller coaster, fine. Yeah. And we speak about karma and all that stuff. You perceive all that which is illusory as separate from the self. Otherwise, none of that actually exists. So these are the point of view. All this is according to, even all these stories, all this depends upon the point of view of the seeker. See what knowledge does it have. It comes from some background, whether it is Buddhism or Hinduism or Christianism or any other ism, right?
Yeah.
So if it is too convinced about all that, you say, yes, this means this and this means that, and whatever, right? Otherwise, none of that means the same, right?
Yeah, sure.
It's your thought. Even the self-inquiry, the self that is inquired is the ego. Okay? What is the ego, right? If you find the ego, if you know what the ego is, right? First is you find yourself and you find God, isn't it? It is written somewhere in the Bible. Right?
Yeah, yeah.
When you find yourself, means you as the ego, first you lose your identity with the body, right? That's the ego in its purity, right? That you find the ego as it is. When the ego is left as it is without identity, right? And without not seeing different from what the ego sees, right? Then the absolute reveals itself. And you know that the ego is the self, right? Not a separate, not a separate entity, not an independent. The world is not independent. Right? First, it's not independent from the seer. The seeing depends on the seeing. The seeing depends on the seer, right?
Yeah.
And the seeing arises from the seer. It's a projection of the seer, right? More quiet we become, right? This is why the self can be realized only in silence. Silence in this context is quiet mind. Right? The mind is still, right? It's no waving. It's not wandering here and there. It's not dull or sleepy or lazy. Right? It's fully conscious, right? It's fully awake, right? And yet completely still means free from thoughts. Right? And then we begin to perceive that current or whatever you like. Only few people speak about that. Yesterday, I sent a video to the WhatsApp group. The Spanish people are in the WhatsApp group. They created a WhatsApp group just for questions and answers.
Oh, okay.
No experience, so not chit chat between them, just questions and answers. Otherwise, I have to read all that stuff or what for. So there is a video of Ramana devotees, and it appears, Papaji appears there. And then he says, at the beginning of the interview, say, I felt a vibration. He called it vibration. See, you can name it whatever you want. He said, see, a vibration, see, a rose, see, from the heart, right? And that was it. Okay? And I found myself in a complete different state, something like that. I can send you the video. It's minutes 46 or something like that. It appears twice. Sure. It appears twice in the. Even the new translations of Ramana's book, even the realization experience when he says that a current or a force arose, right? And he said, and I felt that I was possessed by it. And since then, even without wanting, without any intention or desire, I was just always aware of that current. And he says that current was the essence of his self, the self. And then it was translated, I used to feel the force, the full force of my personality. So there's a lot of stuff that disappears When the sages dies, what is they said, and the new generation of seekers, right? Especially when the devotees, in the sense those who realized the self is the guidance of the masters, normally they are sent away. All the Mana devotees were sent away. And then who's left there dealing with all the written material, you see? And these books read and edited and edited by professor whatever, and all that stuff, and everything just...
And the translation gets lost, or the meaning gets lost.
¿Ah? La camioneta, sí, yo la meto ahora, papá, ahora sí. Sí. Menos mal que me acordaste, se me olvida. The boys remind me that I left the truck outside and I have to bring it in. This is why we are not concerned about the body. See, the body is still... Because we believe that we are the body. We are like looking with the eyes, see, like... right? And the body is the body. Let's leave it alone. It's a mental state that we are looking for, not a physical state or a physical condition or a physical posture. Right? And Ramana used to say that the real asana is a mental... Asana means posture, right? So the real asana is mental, not physical.
With the Shani's teaching me yoga and stuff like that, and with the, I mean, I've experienced like an energetic release when I go into a stretch or something like that. Like, why is something like that? Why is it held in the body in such a way?
It helps. All these things are aids, right? Nothing wrong with that. I myself, I'm waiting to some kind of a virus. Jesus, there's so many viruses kicking in this part of the world. There is one new one spread by pelicans. It's just ridiculous. So the body is a little bit more strong, so I can begin to do a little bit of exercise. I'm not fanatic, but there's nothing wrong with that. Right? So it does. It does. See, when you do yoga, see, you are paying attention to the body posture, right? So it's kind of some form of meditation when the body is the object of meditation, right?
Yeah, sure.
Unfortunately, for the yogi that is identifying itself with the body, so it's like the body is the subject and the object of meditation. So when you pay attention to something, somehow you get focus, right? Some concentration is there. Right? So you're not mentally distracted. Yeah. You're not thinking about the office, bank account, the world affairs, right? You're alone in the yoga studio. Where is your wife? Unless your wife is a teacher, so right? Right. So
and when you go in,
the mind begins to become strong. Strong means that it doesn't think that much. It gains concentration, right? The inquiry, the attention, the object of meditation is the meditator itself. Here, the attention goes to the subject. There is no object of meditation. Right? So the meditation is on the meditator itself.
Right.
That's the difference between inquiry and meditation.
Gotcha.
All these people, they get confused. No, you have to be aware of the self. How can you be aware of the self all the time? It hasn't even revealed itself. How can you contemplate in that which hasn't even shown up? You don't even know what the hell is that. You heard about it, but you don't know what it is. Right? So the self that you focus on is yourself. This is as the mind or the ego is the individual, right?
Mm.
In deep sleep, the ego is still, but it's unaware. Right?
Right.
Now it's aware and active. The idea is to keep it aware, but inactive. See, still. Fully aware. Even that by itself, even the inquiry on the subject, right? Attention on the subject begins to, it does all whatever everybody wants to do by the means of any other practice like yoga, pranayama, all that. The inquiry does it.
Yeah.
Because the dullness will kick in. Or the mind will run. See? And think about something and all that stuff, mental projections, desires, and blah, blah, blah. And the mind sees that. That's a pure mind. The pure mind is called sattvic mind. The pure mind is the one that sees both of them.
Right, yeah.
And then that makes the mind to get a little bit of balance, right? Sometimes the active mind has to play out, right? Who cares? Who sees it? Right? When you witness both, the active mind and the dull mind. The sattvic mind also cannot, the pure mind cannot stay forever there. Boom, collapses, right? And there is no mind. It's called deep sleep. Right? This conscious self now is unconscious of the world and of itself. But even though it exists, because when people say I am sleeping, and if you know that you are sleeping, so you must know you must know that you are. It might happen that if you're seated or say, this, we shouldn't force anything. We may be seated and if the tension is withdraw back to the eye, right? You may not even be aware of the surroundings.
Yeah, sure.
Even the body, your eyes may be open and you may not even feel it.
Mm.
Sometimes the eyes may shut down by itself and there's nothing, there is only the subject. Right? You may lose body consciousness. Yeah? In that state, there is just light. There is no object. See, the act of seeing is not there because there is no object to be seen, right? Remember,
Right, yeah.
it's here, light, and the object seen. If you lose body consciousness, there's nothing to be seen. It's not necessary, any of that stuff. It's the loss of body identities, that will do. Remember these people in the past, they used to spend lot of time, right? Sitting in samadhi, right?
Uh-huh.
And this is why it was important for them, right? The good quality of food and body and physical conditions. So you don't have to be concerned about it. And yoga basically was created for that. And there was only one salute that basically is a summary, right? It compresses all. And then after all this variety came and all that, and fine. When you do sun salute, right, then you stretch basically the joints of the hip, right? The so-called the flexors, the hip flexor, they get stiff, right, when you are seated for too long.
Mm.
Obviously, it's open leg stretching. That's not necessary. You don't walk you don't walk like that. You just walk like this. So you need just the hips, loose so you can. And the rest of the body is all that. I mean, it's fun and fine. No, there's nothing wrong with that. But we have to understand that they are aids, not the goal. And it's all that is performed by the ego.
Mm.
This is why in Tiruvannamalai, you see all the sages, see, there's kind of a precedent for the food of Ramanashram. This, even if they have it once a day, because it's a good quality food. So you don't have to.
Sure.
So it produces like kind of an energy release, as you were saying, right? Yoga and all that stuff.
Yeah, yeah. But the ultimate is self-inquiry. Ultimate practice. So
it is an energy release, it's an illusory release, right? And then I may identify myself as a released one, right? Oh, I've been released from this. And because I'm released from that, I feel a relief. I see there is I and this, right? The subject and the object.
yeah, sure.
Even the ego may think that the thoughtless state is the absolute experience. It's not. It's very pleasant, right? And it is. I have no identity. See, I am not the body. So what? But what are you? That's the question. That is what you are not. So the question is, what is it that you are? Huh? In that state, you hear all these people, oh, I am the world, I merge with the world, see, I am one with the world. This is a non-differentiated, but that's not. And then the ego takes another form of identity, another shape. And the chameleon keep on shaping, right?
Right, okay.
The last one is I am the self. I am that. Because we still have I and that. So still there is me. The truth is not even I am that. That alone is. Right?
So I guess that's I remember asking you yesterday, as like there continues to be a deepening, maybe it's people that are still going through those motions of identity, like I am one with the world.
And I'm telling you, there is so much nonsense out there, new age stuff. Famous gurus, they are now in the, thanks God, I am no longer on the spiritual hit parade, you know. I was on the 10-20. I'm not even on the top 100. I'm gone. Right? And now they speak about reintegration and deepening. And what the hell are you talking about? Who's deepening reintegration, right? Then you realize yourself, you have to reintegrate, and then you have to, who is going to do what? Who is there? I mean, hello, this is absolutely contradictory. And all of them speak, all of them even uses, for example, Ramana's words and images and on his behalf, because he was my guru, blah, 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 blah. I don't know if it is it's a jealousy from the ashram, but for example, in Ramana ashram, they say, no, there is no record here of anybody called Robert Adams commit here. There's no records of that. And there are records of other people from the West, like Paul Burton and all that, Colonel Chapman. See, there's so much nonsense. Who is going to reintegrate? The ego may collapse temporarily, that's all. And because some nonsense still is left, that right? May the ego bounce back, right?
Right.
That's all. At the most, one can speak about temporary loss of the sense of separation and permanent loss of sense of separation. That's all.
So if everyone's talking about deepening, then there's still something identifying.
But the absolute doesn't deepening. The absolute doesn't know anything. So who is this one that is deepening and cleansing and healing and it still is me, right? Must be me. Must be me, because the self is absolute perfection. It's absolute blissfulness. It's absolute power. It's just perfect. Right? The absolute doesn't suffer from identity, loss of identity. It doesn't realize anything because it's already realized. It's already fully full. Right? So it must be me. It must be me. I'm just witnessing. I'm just a witness. Who the hell? Witnessing what? The witnessing still implies duality. Non-differentiation, nothing to witness, because that's non-duality, but that doesn't belong to the absolute. The absolute doesn't know about any of that. It doesn't know anything. It is. That's it. And it is as it is, full stop. I cannot go further than that. Reintegration or how can you reintegrate what hasn't been ever even separated, right? How can you reintegrate the box with the plastic? If you believe that the box is separate from the plastic, there's a box. Otherwise, it's only plastic. Who's going to reintegrate with what? See, the illusion was never separated. See, it was never different from the self. It's also the self. That's the whole point. This is what is realized, right? The self alone is all inclusive. Nothing is left outside, even me. People mistake the light for the self. Mr. Ratanlal was so funny. Somebody said, I was meditating and I saw the light. And Mr. Ratanlal started laughing. He said, who saw the light? Actually, it's me, the seer.
Right.
This maybe lost body consciousness. So what? You can lose body consciousness for 2,000 years, right? And see only life for 2,000 years. When you come back again, the body consciousness, your mind is intact. And this is what I was trying to explain to you. So all that has to surface, right?
But with direct guidance from a teacher, then you can move through that quickly.
This is why, see, I mean, you can do it alone by all means, only with books and this and that, but you have to have a very sharp intellect, right? And a very clear mind. You have to be, it's possible. But now, if you have a real teacher, right? When Babaji was told, see, go back to where you came from, that's actually initiation, right? By the means of words. There is another one that is the Guru just look at you, and that's it. You're gone. See, this is not. That's it. There's no way out. No way back. Or by touch, right? Or some kind of energy, whatever, right?
Right.
Shaktipata or whatever. And if that teacher dies, right? That's enough. That you don't need another one, right? There is only one person that I am aware of that dares to say such a thing like as Lakshmana Swami, a devotee of Ramana Maharshi. He was living in, you were there when he was there, no? We were together in India.
Oh, okay.
He was living near this Kuru there, I don't remember his name. There's a big ashram there, I don't remember. Whatever. And he used to say, why people go to Ramana ashram? What is that? Ramana is gone. The seeker must look for an alive guru. That statement says a lot. I mean, you see these words in the full context. Where people go.
Mm-hmm.
Even Ramana will say, you need a sage. Yeah. He will not even say, it's me, you are here. No, no, no. The sage mind, which is that mind that is already lost, right, in its reality, is completely under control of the absolute, no longer under the control of its own thoughts, right?
Mm.
That's why all these ego gurus, right, they become tyrannic, abusive, right? Mental, physical, even sexual, right? Judgmental, right? Like spiritual Hitlers or something. Make you do this and that. Good Lord. Ramana, this is what I love, Ramana. It's just. He said the seeker, an ardent seeker, is sick and tired of his activities. He wants rest. And I said, the guru to tell that seeker that is to do something to realize the self is not a guru, it's a killer. Right? The real guru says, come sit down, just rest. Sit there and for how long you will hear 1 month. Okay, you have 1 month to do a bag it all. Yeah. Don't do anything. At the most, whatever need this body, just keep still, be mentally still. So,
Thanks for the reminder.
what can I do? That's all. So the seeker either thinks about the self, right, or doesn't think at all. Right? This is why if you are reading, for example, scriptures and watching this, where is your mind? So your mind is pondering, see, in what conceptually represents the reality, right?
All right, yeah.
So the mind is either thinking about it in one way or another, right? Or not thinking at all. See? Just practicing, inquiry, right? Introspection, right? This is why it's not good to read too much.
Yeah, sure.
I mean, you are not, see, the mind is not concerned about the world, right? Problems, your own problems, your own body. I'm not worried about that neither. The Absolute may be kind enough, gracious enough as to even release you from karma or whatever. How is Shani? Yes, so how can you? There you are. I know you are there.
And he's
How are you?
I'm listening to you in my meditation. So it goes in. Thank you, César.
How was?
the yogi.
Okay. It's a yogini. Not yogini.
Yogini, that's right.
Okay, let's see if somebody from the Spanish group has something to say.
Sure. Thanks.
Okay, guys.
Thank you.
Okay. Quedan 10 minutos. 9. Y contando. ¿Alguna pregunta? Hablen ahora o quédense pensando hasta mañana. No, we have a little demon here. Why not? Una diablita por ahí. ¿Por qué no? Para variar.
Hola,
No, eso es-
no soy Susi, soy Vilma.
Hablo tanto con Susi durante el día que la tengo metida en la cabeza todo el día. Medito más en Susi que en el ser.
Yo quiero comentar algo, pero medio de entre casa, entre amigos. No es una pregunta muy seria, porque no me sale. Que hoy comentaste en la charla sobre en un momento dijiste, ahora mismo pueden ver los estados mentales por los que pasan. Por ejemplo, hiciste la actuación de apatía, de actividad, ta, 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 ta. Después comentaste algo de la pureza, como que
El que ve es el testigo de la... Es el mismo ego, es el ego en su estado puro.
claro. Y comentaste que la simple observación de estos estados mentales hace que se equilibren entre sí, que se equilibren, digamos. Pero esa no es en realidad la indagación, ¿no es cierto, César? Porque ver los estados mentales no es ver cómo funciona la mente, pero no es
Sí,
dirigir la mirada hacia el que ve.
pero no, claro que sí, porque ahí no la diriges, ahí te mantienes como el que ve.
Ajá. Observar los estados mentales, ¿es suficiente?
Sí, si te mantienes como el observador, sí.
Observar como la mente, no.
Si te mantienes como un testigo, sí. Sin identificarte con ellos, sí.
Mm, claro,
Y por eso dice, el que ve lo visto desaparece, el que ve desaparece. O atestigua los pensamientos desaparecen, no hay nada que atestiguar, testigo desaparece también.
claro, porque ahí uno se desidentifica de lo que está, bueno, si te sale, si sale, porque tampoco hay un té.
Lo que hace testigo es prácticamente inactivo,
Claro.
¿no? Es inoperante. Ese es el ego puro, es la mente pura. ¿Sí? Mente, ego, individuo. Ese sentido de individualidad, ese estado prístino.
Sí.
Antes de que se identificara con el cuerpo y empezara la corriente de pensamiento.
Eso que comentaste hoy, César, me ayudó mucho en el momento, porque sobre la marcha fue como fácil. Y entonces ahora es como si me hubiese quedado esa memoria de hacerlo con esa facilidad, digamos.
Claro.
Qué pavota, ¿no?
Por eso hay que darle y repetir y repetir y repetir. De repente, tic-clink. ¿Sí?
Mm. César, tu trabajo es sagrado.
Mm.
Tu trabajo es sagrado.
No, sagrado es el que me dio el empleo.
Y nosotros nunca te vamos a poder retribuir todo esto, César.
Me
Porque
falta
a veces pienso que es como ese trabajo insalubre, viste que se ve en las películas donde los ponen a trabajar a los presos, a hacer los caminos y hacer todo eso. Y pienso que para vos es así de arduo a veces, ¿no?
No,
Pero
no es
bueno, no
algo.
voy a decir más nada
A
porque
veces, a veces, eso es lo que llaman también el cuarto estado de la mente, testigo. Son estados mentales, el absoluto. Es el testigo, pero por eso dice más allá del testigo, es tu gatita más allá del testigo. Mi señora Tanlal decía, atestiguar a la mente con la mente hace que la mente, ¿sí?, vuelva otra vez, caiga bajo el control del absoluto. Es decir, no está bajo el control de sus propios pensamientos, ideas, creencias, deseos, preconcepciones, etcétera, etcétera. Esa vida no tiene vida propia, ¿no? No puede vivir para sí mismo, aunque quiera. A veces le dan un regalito por aquí, por allá, una especie de recompensa.
pero pienso que también para nosotros es muy importante que vos estés bien en todo sentido, porque a veces se me ocurre, César, que también en este mundo de la espiritualidad, yo lo estoy hablando con amigos, con ustedes, que en este mundo de la espiritualidad también es un tema muy tabú, el tema de las donaciones en sí. Y no me quiero meter en ese tema porque parece que es medio complicada la parte económica. Yo no me quiero meter en para nada, para nada. Aparte que tampoco me siento que sea tu devota o tu fan. No, no me siento así. Sin embargo, toda esta parte de económica es tabú, porque vos no pedís absolutamente nada, ni nunca lo pediste, ni nunca lo vas a pedir. Nosotros que estamos tan identificados, me voy a poner a llorar y no quiero.
Nos vamos.
Somos... César, nosotros somos por naturaleza, si es la naturaleza egoica, como el ego lo dice, somos egoístas. Y una vez vos me dijiste en una de las primeras charlas algo muy, 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 muy hermoso, que es que nosotros no podemos tratar de ser generosos, que en realidad cuando el ego cae, la generosidad es lo que es, en realidad, por naturaleza, sin ego, somos generosos y el amor mismo, y el otro, allá no hay separación, y el otro, es decir, me lo estoy dando a mí. Pero era simplemente un reconocimiento de que donde me parece que seguimos siendo, me parece, ¿no? Y estoy haciendo muy mal en hablar en plural, ¿no? Pero me parece que...
Desde el punto de vista absoluto, okay, yo siempre tengo estos puntos de referencia. Okay. Personal y el de otros. O sea, experiencia propia y de otros. Okay. Los apóstoles. A ver, adiós. Sigan su camino ahora. Ah, ¿y de qué vamos a comer? Eso se va a proveer. ¿Y dónde vamos a dormir? Eso se va a proveer. Ah, ¿y qué le vamos a decir a la gente? Eso también se les va a proveer. Es decir, Anamalai Swami, ¿verdad? Váyase para allá. No le pida a nadie, ni siquiera a sus vecinos. Lo que necesites se va a proveer. ¿Mm? Ah, en mi caso, aparece en Australia. A ver, ni siquiera a mí. Ya yo lo tenía, ya yo estaba como diciendo que ya está. No puedo negar que esto es lo que, ya me di cuenta de que es lo que tengo que hacer. ¿Mm? Me di cuenta cuando estaba trabajando en hospitales psiquiátricos y en ancianatos. Que yo dije, pucha, si yo tengo el conocimiento para no permitir que esto suceda. Y creo que ese fue ese mismo día que mi esposa en aquel entonces se le apareció, "Vale, tu esposo tiene mucho trabajo que hacer. ¿Cuál es ese trabajo? Hablar de la conciencia". ¿No? He contado la historia, ¿no? Regresamos juntos, ya se fue, se llevó todo el dinero y me quedé yo, bancarrota. ¿Mm? Y desde ese día, yo dije, bueno, si este es mi trabajo y usted me da el empleo, usted me tiene que poner un sueldo. O sea, usted tiene que encargarse de mí porque yo no tengo cabeza, yo no voy a tener cabeza para mí mismo, ¿verdad? Porque mi cabeza va a estar todo el tiempo aclarando dudas y inclusive pasando tiempo, aunque no aclare dudas, con la gente. Ese es mi trabajo. Es decir, es como que yo me convertí en lo que yo hago. ¿Mm? Yo soy de lo que estoy hablando. Entonces, de todas maneras, todo lo que viene yo lo acepto de la misma mano. Sí.
Pero César, en Oriente hay otra conciencia de lo que es el maestro, el
Ay,
gurú y otra
claro,
generosidad.
claro,
Que
claro. La
acá en
idea,
Occidente,
la idea de la idea de las donaciones, por ejemplo, a Ramana nunca tocó un centavo de ahí. Ramana era un caso excepcional. ¿Sí? Y se aseguraba que ese dinero se administraba de manera que no se desperdiciara. Y él tomaba de ahí solamente lo necesario, que era básicamente la comida, ¿no? Y por supuesto se construyó el hall y se construyó esto y lo otro, pero toda esa infraestructura no es para el sabio, no se beneficia de ello. A mi hermana le daba igual si dormía en el piso o arriba de un basurero, él mismo lo dijo. Yo soy feliz sentada arriba de este sofá cómodo, arriba de aquel basurero, exactamente igual. Que la comida me la traigan de la cocina, cocinada por Bramini, o que me la den de la mano cualquiera que me la dé. Entonces, Por eso yo lo dejo a la... Porque ni siquiera es la persona que dona es un instrumento. ¿Sí? Todo eso es para que todo este movimiento continúe. ¿Sí?
Sí, sí.
A mí, yo puedo conseguir un trabajo. ¿Cuántas veces yo no trabajé y no quise hacer esto? O sea, realmente, eso no es el problema. El
Claro.
problema es que no puedo no hacer esto. Yo no puedo. ¿Qué quieres que te cuente? No lo quiero, no lo hago ni porque quiero, ni porque puedo, ni porque... ¿Cuál por qué? Listo. Toma, siéntete aquí y haz esto. Ya está. Entonces, definitivamente, la señora Ratanlal fue la primera que me lo dijo, o la primera con la que yo hablé de ellos. Señora Ratanlal me dijo, yo no estoy acostumbrado a esto. ¿Sí? Sasha se fue y se llevó todo. Y como me quedo yo aquí, me dicen que venga para acá a hacer esto. Usted me dice que venga, que esté aquí y haga esto. El señor Ratanlal lo dejé escrito. Y ay, ¿cómo voy a hacer? ¿Yo qué? ¿Qué voy a trabajar? ¿Qué dinero? ¿Mm? Inclusive di clases en el Instituto de Karate, no había sueldo, no me podían poner un sueldo porque era ilegal. No tiene una visa de trabajo, o sea, no había sido absorbido por el ashram, ¿ok? Que me lo ofreció el señor Ratranal desde el principio. Dame tu pasaporte, te damos un cuarto, te damos comida, aquí tendrás que hacer algo. Obviamente iba a hacer esto. O tal vez, no sé, cualquier otra cosa, ayudar con cualquier otra, ¿qué más da? ¿No? Y me dieron, y trabajé con, no sé, acuerdo, 4 o 5 meses, y cuando dije, mire, me tengo que ir, si no me pueden pagar, no puedo. Y me dieron 1.500 rupias, una especie de regalo, 1.500 rupias y unos paqueticos de vibuti. 1.500 rupias en aquella época, ya te digo, 1.500 rupias, en aquella época estaba como 45. Me dieron $33. Pero en India 1.500 rupias era un mes de alquiler donde yo estaba viviendo. Así es.
Claro.
La señora me dice, si te lo dan, si te lo dan, acéptalo, pero no lo pidas. Si te lo dan, acéptalo. Ella misma a veces me daba 500 rupias o me daba algo de comer o algo por el estilo, ¿no? Y luego yo dije, aquí esto se va a poner feo porque se van a enterar, ¿me entiendes? Aquí se van a enterar de que me están dando dinero. Ahí es donde empezó la cosa.
Bueno, César, se te hizo tarde, nos recontrapasamos de la hora, ya 9, 10 minutos es un montón, falta Nati
No,
y
sí,
horas
sí.
extras no te vamos a
No,
pagar.
no importa hablar de esto, siempre y cuando se hable en el contexto adecuado. Eso es todo.
Mm.
Por eso no se puede demandar o se puede exigir o se puede... ¿no?
Gracias, César, querido.
Ah,
Gracias. Te
ni
amamos,
lo,
todos te amamos.
igualmente, ni lo menciono. Ok.
Eh, ¿Viene Nati un poquito?
Sí, sí, sí. Poco no.
La frasecita, ya la extrañábamos.
¿Cómo está el viernes?
Uf, el yerno anda cuidando la salud y bueno, pues te trae todo el tiempo en la mente, pero le ha entrado esa parte de que no quiere estar ya escuchando nada, 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 nada. Está negado ahorita,
Está bien, está bien, está bien.
no quiere
Él,
escuchar.
no, igualito lo tiene en la cabeza, ya entró y ahí no se le está tranquilo.
Sí, porque él te reconoce todo el tiempo y, pues obvio habla de ti y todo, pero de palabras ya no quiere saber nada. No, dice, ya estoy cansado, ya estoy harto. Entonces, bueno, pues hay que darle tiempo.
No, está bien, está bien.
Sí, César. Y bueno, hablando también de lo que Vilma comentaba, yo sí quiero agradecerte mucho, César, porque pues estás presente todo el tiempo, César. Y por todo lo que estás emanando siempre, tanto en el grupo como pues a los seres que ni siquiera te conocen bien, porque bueno, aquí no he podido entrar a todas las reuniones y es lo que sí a veces me ha inquietado, pero la familia y bueno, los chicos, Levi, que también estuvo aquí ahora con nosotros y pues ya no se ha conectado contigo, él nada más dice que lo va a hacer y lo va a hacer y bueno, se le ha ido el tiempo, ¿no? Pero todo esto, bueno, siempre está, siempre se te menciona y siempre ahí hay una fuerza, una energía que está con nosotros y que pese a veces que no podemos estar todo el tiempo escuchándote o estando sobre todo aquí presente contigo, pues el trabajo lo haces y todos los días y a cada segundo y a cada minuto. Entonces, pues solo es eso, agradecerte mucho. Yo también a veces ya no escucho tanto, sino es estar contigo, estar con el maestro y con la fuerza, ¿no? Con lo que estás emanando. Muchas gracias, César.
Ni lo menciono.
Y sí, te amamos, como dice Vilma.
Ok.
Gracias.
Aquí Pedro va a rematar. Ahí viene.
Dime cómo te dono una piruleta.
Mi asesor gramático, económico.
Tengo una piruleta para donarte, no sé cómo hacértela llegar. Como todos somos tan espirituales.
Es una piruleta.
Una piruleta, sí. No sé cómo, porque mi corazón me lleva a darte una piruleta. Y claro, no sé cómo hacértela llegar, porque como tú vives del aire y eres tan espiritual,
No,
todo
no.
está. Y en la tierra, no pisamos en la tierra y el absoluto te provee y te envía agua y truenos y antenas y satélites. Pues yo te envío mi piruleta porque Dios proveerá. Pero mientras tanto me tomo mi cerveza y mi whisky y me voy de vacaciones.
Yo sabía, Pedro va a cerrar con broche de oro el tema.
Así que no me distraigas con historias para no dormir de el pasado cuando estabas en Australia o en Checoslovaquia, porque para mí solo existe el ahora. No tiempo, no espacio, ¿no? Solo piruletas. Así que, yo qué sé, va a haber que ir aclarando conceptos y revisando el librito ese, ¿no? Que hay que hacer algunas ediciones de ahí. Para que la gente done piruletas, coño. Igual da para una tienda luego. Te vemos ahí vendiendo.
Ok.
Nada más.
Adiós.
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 Gracias.
Gracias por la piruleta. Ay,